I visited my friend's house for dinner, and his mom said, "Stay a bit longer. I like how you." A small, neat garden with bright flowers, a white picket fence that looked freshly painted, and windows that reflected the late afternoon sun. But there was something about the house that felt different, comforting in a strange way. It was a warm Friday evening, and Kai had walked the short distance from his apartment to Joran's neighborhood. The streets were quiet, only the occasional car passing by. Birds chirped lazily in the trees, and the smell of fresh bread seemed to linger from someone's kitchen nearby. Kai liked the calmness. It reminded him of quiet moments before big discoveries, the calm before some kind of adventure. When he reached Joran's front door, he rang the bell. Almost immediately, the door swung open. "Hey, Kai, you're on time," Joran said, his smile wide, his hair messy as usual. Kai grinned back. "Wouldn't want to be late for your mom's famous dinner." Joran laughed and stepped aside. "Come in, you're just in time." Kai walked into the living room. He noticed small changes since the last time he had visited. The furniture seemed slightly rearranged, though nothing seemed out of place. A faint hum filled the air, almost like a soft whisper coming from the walls themselves. Kai paused for a moment, curious. "Elena," Joran called, "Kai is here." A woman appeared from the kitchen, carrying a tray with a teapot and two glasses. She smiled warmly at Kai, her eyes bright. Kai felt a little nervous under her gaze. There was something unusual about the way she looked at him, not in a strange or scary way, but like she could see more than most people did. "Ah, Kai," she said, her voice gentle. "I've heard so much about your engineering projects. Your ideas are impressive." Kai blushed slightly. "Thanks, Mrs. Darling, I'm just trying to learn." Elena nodded approvingly. "Learning is good, but noticing is better. You seem to notice the little things that most people miss. That quality is rare." Kai wasn't sure how to respond, so he simply smiled. Dinner was served shortly after. The table was simple, but the aroma of the food made Kai's stomach rumble. They sat down, chatting casually. Joran told stories about his week at school, his friends, and some funny incidents that had happened during sports practice. Kai laughed, enjoying the easy conversation, though part of his mind was still noticing small details. The faint hum in the walls, the subtle way the lights brightened when he looked at them, and the almost imperceptible movement of shadows in the corner of the room. After the main course, Elena placed a small tray of desserts in front of them. As Kai reached for a piece of cake, she spoke again, casually, almost like it was nothing. "Stay a bit longer, Kai. I like how you think." Kai froze slightly, fork in hand. He looked at Joran, who shrugged with a sheepish grin. What do you mean?" Kai asked. Elena smiled warmly. "I mean what I said. You notice things others overlook. You think clearly, logically, and yet creatively. It's rare. And I think you might enjoy what I have to show you." Kai's curiosity grew. He had always liked puzzles, experiments, and strange ideas, but there was something in Elena's tone that made him wonder if this would be more than a casual visit. Okay," Kai said cautiously, trying not to seem too eager. Joran chuckled. "Mom likes to get excited about interesting things." Elena set down her tea and stood. "Come with me. I'll show you something you won't see anywhere else." Kai followed her into the hallway, and then she pressed a small panel next to a painting on the wall. With a quiet click, the painting slid aside to reveal a hidden doorway. Behind it was a room he had never noticed before. It was a laboratory, though not like one you might see on television. Everything was sleek, clean, and futuristic. Screens lit up with lines of data, mechanical arms moved with quiet precision, and strange devices Kai couldn't immediately identify were neatly arranged on tables and shelves. The faint hum he had noticed earlier seemed to be coming from this room. "This is incredible," Kai said, stepping closer. His eyes scanned the equipment. "Is all of this yours?" Elena nodded. "Yes, it's my workspace, and I've been hoping someone with your kind of mind would see it." Kai felt a rush of excitement. The curiosity he had always had for machines, inventions, and puzzles surged. "Why me?" he asked. "Because you think like a human should," Alina replied. "Curious, observant, intuitive. You notice patterns, connections, and possibilities that a machine alone might miss. And right now, I have a project that could use a mind like yours." Kai's heart raced. He had always wanted to work on something extraordinary, something that could change the world. And now, standing in this hidden laboratory, it seemed like the opportunity had arrived without warning. Alina gestured to a device at the center of the room. It looked like a sleek helmet connected to a console with a tangle of wires and glowing lights. "This is a prototype," she said. "It's designed to augment human perception and thought, enhancing creativity, problem-solving, and intuition. But it's incomplete. I need someone who can see solutions that are not obvious, someone who can think outside the system. That's why I asked you to stay." Kai approached the device slowly, awe in his eyes. "It's like something from science fiction." "Perhaps," Alina said, smiling. "But today it's science. Tomorrow, who knows?" He looked around the room, noticing how everything seemed to respond to his presence. Screens shifted, lights adjusted, and small mechanical arms moved as if anticipating his curiosity. It wasn't magic, it was design. Thoughtful, advanced, brilliant design. Do you really think I can help?" Kai asked, unsure whether he should be flattered or intimidated. Alina looked at him seriously. "I don't think, I know. Humans still have a spark that machines cannot replicate. Imagination, intuition, moral reasoning, these are things we cannot program. And you have them. That's why I asked you to stay." Kai felt a mix of pride and nervousness. This wasn't just dinner anymore. It was the start of something he couldn't yet understand. As he looked around, he realized something else. His mind was already racing with ideas. How could this device work? How did the systems integrate with the human brain? What possibilities did it open for science, exploration, maybe even for humanity itself? Alina watched him, her eyes bright with approval. "I like the way your mind works. That's why I wanted you here. Stay a bit longer, Kai. There's a lot I want to show you, and I think you'll enjoy it." Kai nodded slowly, feeling a mixture of excitement and anticipation. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing. This dinner visit had turned into the beginning of an adventure, one that might change the way he saw the world, and perhaps even the universe, forever. And with that, Kai took a deep breath and stepped fully into the hidden laboratory, ready to discover the secrets that Alina had been patiently waiting to reveal. Kai stood in the middle of the hidden laboratory, his eyes darting from one strange device to another. The soft hum in the room seemed to grow louder as if the house itself was aware of his presence. Lights blinked gently, casting shadows on the walls, and he noticed subtle movements in the machines, as if they were waiting for him to make a move. Alina walked over to a sleek console at the center of the room. She tapped a few buttons, and a large holographic screen shimmered to life above it. On the screen floated an intricate three-dimensional model of a helmet-like device, glowing softly with blue and green lights. "This," she said, her voice calm but excited, "is what I've been working on for the past 5 years. It's designed to enhance human thought, perception, and creativity, but it's not complete. That's where you come in, Kai." Kai approached the console cautiously. "Enhance thought, like make me smarter?" he asked. Alina smiled. "Not smarter in the usual sense, you already have intelligence. But this device helps humans notice patterns they might otherwise miss, make connections between ideas faster, and even solve problems in ways that machines can't predict. It's a bridge between human intuition and advanced computation." Kai leaned closer, studying the holographic model. He could see tiny circuits inside the helmet, delicate filaments that seemed almost alive, weaving in and out like a miniature neural network. The way it pulsed with light made it look like it was breathing. "Wow," he whispered. "It's incredible. How does it work?" Alina's eyes twinkled. "Some of it is conventional science, AI, neural mapping, sensory input, but some of it is experimental. We're exploring the edges of what the human mind can do when guided by the right technology. Kai's mind raced. He had always loved experiments, loved puzzles, loved anything that challenged him to think differently. But this was beyond anything he had imagined. "You said I could help," Kai asked, his curiosity growing. "How?" Alina walked over to a smaller table and picked up a metal cube about the size of a fist. It was covered with tiny symbols and moving parts that clicked softly as she turned it in her hands. "This is a test. It's a puzzle designed to measure creativity and intuition. The device I'm developing can analyze patterns and suggest solutions, but it can't think like a human. It can't imagine possibilities outside the rules it knows. That's why I need you. I need someone who can see solutions that aren't obvious." Kai's eyes lit up. "A puzzle." "I love puzzles." Alina handed him the cube. "Solve it. Don't worry about speed. Just think." Kai took the cube carefully. He turned it in his hands, watching the tiny parts move and shift. The symbols seemed to form patterns, but no obvious solution presented itself. He furrowed his brow, considering possibilities. He tried moving some pieces, observing how they interacted and experimenting with different approaches. Minutes passed, then 10, then 15. Kai's mind worked quickly but methodically. He noticed connections that seemed random at first, patterns in the way the pieces moved, hints in the symbols themselves. Slowly, the solution began to form in his mind. He carefully rotated a segment of the cube, aligning symbols in a way that made the hidden mechanism click into place. The cube made a soft, satisfying sound, and a small compartment opened, revealing a tiny crystal glowing with blue light. Alina clapped her hands softly. "Impressive, Kai. Exactly what I hoped to see. That's the human touch, the ability to notice the unseen, to imagine possibilities that a machine might overlook." Kai grinned, feeling a rush of pride. "I didn't even know I was thinking that creatively. It just happened." Alina nodded. "That's how human intuition works. Machines calculate, humans create." She paused, studying him. "And that's why I wanted you here. This project, it needs someone who can think beyond the expected." Kai's curiosity deepened. "What exactly does the device do when it's ready?" Alina gestured to the helmet at the center of the room. "When worn, it interacts with the brain's natural neural pathways. It enhances pattern recognition, accelerates problem-solving, and amplifies intuition. It's not magic. It's science, but it's science that stretches what humans are capable of, beyond what AI or machines can do alone." Kai stared at the helmet, imagining what it would feel like to wear it. "Have you tested it before?" "A little," Alina admitted. "The results are promising, but the true test is human adaptability. Machines can analyze data endlessly, but they can't think creatively or morally. They can't improvise the way humans can. That's why I need someone like you to help refine it, to teach it how humans think." Kai felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This wasn't just an experiment. It was a chance to explore the limits of human potential, and somehow he knew it was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. Alina smiled at his expression. "Don't worry, Kai. You won't be alone. I'll guide you, but the real insight comes from you, from your mind, your intuition, your creativity." Kai nodded, feeling a thrill of anticipation. "Okay, I'm in. What do I do first?" Alina handed him a small tablet displaying a complex sequence of symbols and diagrams. "This is the next step. It's a series of mental exercises designed to test and expand your perception. Solve them, and the device will adapt to your thinking style. Think of it as training for both you and the technology." Kai stared at the tablet, taking a deep breath. The symbols seemed confusing at first, but as he focused, he began to notice patterns. Each exercise challenged him to think differently, sometimes logically, sometimes creatively, sometimes in ways that defied his usual habits. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Kai became completely absorbed in the exercises, experimenting, testing, failing, and trying again. Alina watched silently, occasionally offering hints but mostly observing how his mind worked. Finally, Kai leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. "Done," he said, handing the tablet to her. Alina examined the results, her eyes widening slightly. "Impressive. You've unlocked connections I didn't anticipate. The device will learn a lot from you." Kai smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment unlike anything he had experienced before. "So, this is just the beginning, right?" Alina nodded. "Yes, and now we move to the next stage." Kai felt a surge of excitement. He had no idea what the next stage would involve, but he knew it would challenge him in ways he had never imagined. And somehow, he trusted that he was ready. Just then, a faint sound came from the corner of the room, a soft, rhythmic beeping. The devices in the lab seemed to react, lights flickering in response. Alina glanced at the screens, her expression calm but focused. Kai noticed something on one of the monitors, a strange pattern in the data, almost like a signal. "What is that?" he asked, pointing. Alina's eyes narrowed slightly. "Interesting. That might be something we weren't expecting." Kai felt a thrill of curiosity mixed with a little tension. Something unusual had just appeared on the monitors, something that no one had planned for. His mind raced with possibilities. Was it a glitch, a new pattern in the exercises, or something else entirely? Alina turned to him, her expression serious but encouraging. "Kai, this is exactly why humans are important. Machines might see patterns, but they don't understand context. You do. Let's figure this out together." Kai's heart beat faster. This was no longer just an experiment or a puzzle. It was something bigger, something that might require every bit of human creativity and intuition he could offer. He took a deep breath and stepped closer to the console. "Let's see what it is," he said. Alina smiled, her eyes bright with excitement. "Yes, let's." And with that, Kai began to analyze the strange pattern, unaware that this small discovery might be the start of an adventure far beyond the walls of the laboratory, one that would test the limits of human potential and ingenuity in ways he had never imagined. The faint beeping on. The monitor persisted, steady and rhythmic, drawing Kai's attention like a magnet. The pattern was unlike anything he had seen before. It didn't resemble the puzzles or exercises he had been solving in the laboratory. Instead, it pulsed with a strange logic, almost as if it had its own consciousness. "Look at this," Kai said, pointing to the screen. "It's repeating, but in a way that changes every few seconds, almost like it's trying to communicate." Alina stepped closer, her eyes scanning the data. "Interesting. That isn't part of the exercises. Nor is it part of the device's normal output." She paused, then added, "It could be a signal from somewhere or someone beyond this house." Kai felt a thrill of curiosity mixed with a hint of nervousness. "Beyond this house? You mean from outside, like outside Earth?" Alina nodded slowly. "Possibly, but I want to be careful. We don't know what it is yet. That's why I need your help. Humans can spot patterns and anomalies that machines alone often miss. Your intuition will be crucial here." Kai swallowed hard. He had never worked on something like this before. The stakes felt enormous, though at this moment he couldn't fully understand why. Still, he couldn't resist the urge to investigate. He had always been drawn to the unknown, and this, whatever it was, felt like the ultimate puzzle. "Okay," he said, taking a deep breath. "Where do we start?" Alina guided him to a console with multiple screens. "First, we need to analyze the signal in segments. Break it down, see if we can detect any repeating structure or hidden information. Treat it like a puzzle. Look for patterns, anomalies, and connections that aren't immediately obvious." Kai's fingers danced across the keyboard, pulling up data and running algorithms. At first, the signal seemed random, a jumble of numbers, symbols, and frequencies. But as he studied it, subtle repetitions began to emerge. Certain sequences repeated but with slight variations, almost like a code. Look at this, Kai said, pointing at the screen. These sequences, they're not random. They're shifted slightly each time. Maybe it's trying to tell us something. Alina's eyes brightened. Exactly. Machines might see these as noise, but humans can interpret context, intent, and possibility. What do you think it means? Kai thought for a moment, then began experimenting. He applied various decryption methods, shifting symbols, translating frequencies, and even considering mathematical patterns. Hours passed, yet the process felt exhilarating rather than exhausting. Every small discovery made his heart beat faster. Finally, a coherent message began to emerge. It wasn't complete, but fragments of information were clear. Coordinates, a series of diagrams resembling advanced technology, and a set of instructions written in a pattern that suggested intelligence beyond Earth. Kai leaned back, stunned. Alina, this isn't just a signal, it's a message, and it's smart, really smart. Alina nodded slowly. I thought so. That's why I wanted you here. Human intuition, creativity, and problem-solving, that's what we need to understand it. Machines alone won't be enough. Kai felt a thrill of excitement mixed with awe. This was beyond anything he had imagined, far beyond puzzles and experiments. He realized that this signal could change everything humans knew about the universe, and somehow they were among the first to notice it. Okay, Kai said, determination in his voice. What's next? Alina guided him to the helmet-like device at the center of the lab. We need to enhance your perception. The signal contains layers of information, visual, auditory, even conceptual patterns that are difficult for a regular human brain to process in real time. The device can help, but remember, it amplifies your intuition. It doesn't replace it. You'll still need to think, imagine, and improvise. Kai hesitated for a moment, staring at the helmet. It looked both fascinating and intimidating, glowing softly as if alive. But his curiosity and determination outweighed any fear. Let's do it, he said, sitting down and placing the helmet on his head. Immediately, a rush of sensations flooded Kai's mind. Colors became sharper, sounds more distinct, and patterns in the data seemed to jump out at him. He could perceive subtle changes in the signal that he had missed before. The numbers and symbols weren't just sequences. They were part of a larger structure, a system of logic that had a purpose. This is amazing, Kai whispered, his eyes wide. I can see everything all at once. Alina watched closely, observing how Kai's reactions changed as he interacted with the enhanced perception. Good, now use it. Focus on the signal. Let your mind trace the patterns and connections. Think creatively. Kai's mind raced. He traced the sequences like a web, connecting points that seemed unrelated at first. He noticed hidden repetitions, subtle variations, and patterns that suggested direction, intention, and even emotion. The signal was not random. It was an intelligent message, carefully constructed for someone capable of understanding it. Hours passed. Kai's focus never wavered. He experimented with different interpretations, imagining the signal as a language, a blueprint, and even a map. The device amplified his perception, but every insight came from his own mind, from his ability to notice, analyze, and imagine. Finally, a breakthrough came. Kai recognized a coherent structure in the message. It was a set of instructions, coordinates in space, combined with a conceptual diagram that suggested advanced technology. It was not just a message, it was an invitation, a guide, and a puzzle all in one. Alina's eyes sparkled. Incredible, you've done it. You've interpreted what no machine could. Kai removed the helmet, feeling both exhilarated and drained. I think I understand it, he said slowly. It's giving us directions and instructions, but for what? Alina smiled knowingly. That is exactly what we need to find out. And that, Kai, is where your creativity comes in. Humans can imagine possibilities that machines cannot. We can consider context, ethics, and consequences. And that's why you are here. Kai took a deep breath, realizing the magnitude of what they had discovered. This signal could lead to technology far beyond humanity's current understanding. It could change the world, or even the universe. And yet, despite the pressure, he felt a thrill unlike anything he had ever experienced. For the first time in his life, he was at the forefront of something truly extraordinary. "Okay," he said, determination shining in his eyes. "We need to figure out the next step." "What does the message want us to do?" Alina nodded. "Precisely, and we will. But this is where intuition, creativity, and careful reasoning come together. Humans, especially those who notice what others overlook, are the ones who can take the next step. Machines alone won't understand the subtle patterns, the implied possibilities, the context behind the instructions." Kai felt a sense of pride and responsibility. He realized that humans had something unique, something no machine or artificial intelligence could replicate: the ability to imagine, to reason morally, and to solve problems with creativity and intuition. He looked at the glowing helmet and then back at the screen displaying the signal. "All right," he said, determination in his voice. "Let's see where this takes us." Alina nodded, her smile warm and encouraging. "Exactly. Humans were meant for challenges like this. And I'm glad you're here to meet them head-on." Kai took a deep breath and leaned forward, ready to follow the signal wherever it might lead. He didn't know what they would find, but he knew one thing for certain. Humanity had a spark, a potential, and a courage that no machine could ever replicate. And that spark, right now, was guiding them toward the unknown. The adventure had truly begun. The signal on the console pulsed steadily, casting a faint blue glow across Kai's face. Even without the helmet, the pattern seemed to hum with life, as if the room itself held its breath. Alina stood beside him, her expression calm but alert, scanning the shifting sequences on the screens. "This is it," she said quietly. "Whatever this is, it's not Earth-based. I can't explain how, but the structure of the signal, it doesn't match anything our machines have ever produced. It's intelligent." Kai leaned closer, tracing the symbols with his fingers on the screen. "Intelligent, like someone is trying to talk to us," Alina nodded. "Yes. And humans, especially humans like you, Kai, are the ones who can understand it. Machines can process data endlessly, but they lack imagination. They cannot interpret intent or creativity embedded in a message. That's why you're essential." Kai's heart raced. The idea that they were receiving a message from beyond Earth was thrilling, but it also carried a weight he had never felt before. They weren't just working on an experiment anymore. They were responding to something alive, something that had traveled across the vast emptiness of space to reach them. He focused on the signal again, trying to interpret the shifting patterns. Each pulse seemed to carry layers of information: numbers, symbols, diagrams, and even shapes that seemed almost musical in their arrangement. It was overwhelming, but the helmet's training had honed his perception. He could notice subtleties others might overlook: the slight variations in timing, the subtle changes in frequency, the repetition of certain sequences. "Look here," Kai said, pointing to a cluster of symbols. "These are coordinates, and these diagrams, they look like some kind of technology." Alina's eyes widened slightly. "Coordinates, could it be pointing to something? A location in space?" Kai nodded. "Yes, and these diagrams, they're not just random shapes, they're instructions. But they're unlike anything humans have built. It's advanced, really advanced." Alina stepped closer, placing her hand gently on Kai's shoulder. "This is why humans are vital. AI could analyze the symbols, but it cannot imagine the possibilities. It cannot make the intuitive leaps that lead to discovery. Your mind can." Kai felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated by the machines they created, yet here he was, proof that creativity, intuition, and ingenuity were still irreplaceable. He turned back to the console, determination blazing in his eyes. "All right," he said, Let's figure this out. If these are coordinates and instructions, we need to understand the purpose. Alina nodded. Exactly. Let's begin with the basics. Break the signal into layers. Look for repetition, hierarchy, and hidden relationships between the elements. Trust your instincts. Sometimes intuition sees connections where logic alone cannot. Kai began his analysis. He traced lines across the screen, connecting points that seemed unrelated. He rotated diagrams in his mind, imagining how each component might interact. Slowly, the pieces began to form a coherent picture, a map pointing to a distant star system, combined with blueprints for a device that could manipulate energy in ways humans had never seen. This is incredible, Kai whispered. It's like they're inviting us to understand or maybe even build something. Alina watched him closely, a proud smile on her face. It's not an invitation for the faint of heart. But humans are exactly what this signal was designed for. Those who can see beyond the obvious, who can think creatively, who can imagine the impossible, they are the ones who will succeed. Kai leaned back, taking a deep breath. So, this isn't just a message, it's a challenge. And we have to solve it, Alina nodded. Yes, a challenge, and one that requires the human mind, not a machine's computation, not an algorithm's calculation. Humans, thinking, imagining, creating. Kai felt a thrill of determination. For the first time, he truly understood the value of human ingenuity. It wasn't about speed, strength, or memory. It was about seeing patterns others missed, imagining solutions no one else could, and having the courage to act. He returned to the signal, dissecting each sequence with care. Hours passed, yet Kai felt no fatigue. The puzzle drew him in completely. He noticed subtle anomalies, symbols that appeared slightly shifted, frequencies that altered in rhythm. These details seemed insignificant to a machine, but to him they hinted at intent. I think I understand part of it, he said finally, pointing at a cluster of symbols. These instructions, they're not just diagrams, they're guidelines. Step-by-step methods for building something. But the materials, the energy sources, they're beyond current human technology. Alina's eyes brightened. Exactly, and that's why interpretation is critical. Humans can conceptualize solutions that adapt to their environment. That's something machines cannot do. We'll need creativity, imagination, and strategic thinking to fill in the gaps. Kai felt a thrill of anticipation mixed with responsibility. They weren't just following instructions, they were interpreting them, imagining possibilities and making choices that could have consequences far beyond Earth. Suddenly, the signal shifted. The pulsing grew faster, more insistent. It seemed almost alive, as if it were responding to their analysis. Kai's eyes widened. It's reacting to us, Alina nodded. Exactly, that's the key. This is not a static message, it's interactive. It expects understanding, adaptation, and creativity. It's testing us. Kai leaned forward, focusing intensely. His mind traced the signal, connecting patterns, predicting sequences, and imagining the next step. He felt a strange exhilaration, as if his mind was being stretched beyond normal limits. Hours passed, and the signal's patterns became clearer. Kai noticed a central sequence that acted as a key, unlocking the rest of the message. It revealed a series of energy nodes, coordinates, and instructions for a device capable of detecting and amplifying cosmic phenomena. The technology was advanced, yes, but with human imagination and ingenuity it could be understood and adapted. Kai removed the helmet, breathless and exhilarated. I think I've cracked the main part, but this is just the beginning. There's still so much to interpret and adapt. Alina smiled, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. And that, Kai, is why humans are essential. Machines could process the signal for centuries and still miss what you just discovered. Creativity, intuition, moral reasoning, these are uniquely human. And now we can take the next step. Kai felt a surge of pride and determination. This was no longer a simple experiment. It was a real opportunity to make a difference, to explore something beyond imagination. He realized that humans had a spark, a potential, and a courage that no machine could ever replicate. "All right," he said, his voice firm. "What do we do next?" Alina nodded. "We prepare. We adapt the technology, interpret the instructions fully, and consider the possibilities. Humans can conceptualize, improvise, and create solutions where machines cannot. That's our advantage. That's why we're here." Kai looked at the signal one last time, feeling a mix of awe and excitement. He didn't know where it would lead, but he knew one thing. Humanity had the power to understand, adapt, and explore beyond any limits. And right now, that power was in his hands. The alien signal was more than a message. It was an invitation to a new frontier. And humans, with their creativity, intuition, and courage, were ready to take the challenge. Kai straightened his back, his eyes bright with determination. "Let's do this. Let's see where it leads us." Alina smiled warmly. "Exactly. Humans were meant for challenges like this. And I'm glad you're here to face it." Kai took a deep breath, feeling the weight and excitement of the moment. Beyond the walls of the laboratory, beyond the stars, something awaited. And together, with human ingenuity, creativity, and courage, they would meet it. The adventure was far from over. The laboratory was quiet except for the faint hum of the machines and the gentle blinking of the screens. Kai sat at the central console, staring at the alien signal. The patterns now made more sense than ever before, thanks to the hours of analysis and his training with the helmet. The coordinates, diagrams, and instructions were clear, but the final step, the application, was still unknown. Alina watched him with quiet pride. "Kai, the moment of truth is here. You've interpreted the signal, unlocked its secrets, and imagined possibilities that no machine could. Now comes the challenge, applying what we've learned." Kai took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the responsibility. The signal wasn't just data. It was a roadmap to understanding, perhaps even building technology far beyond human capability. Yet he understood that the true power wasn't in the machines or the signal. It was in the human mind itself. He reviewed the instructions carefully. The signal detailed a method to construct a small, self-contained device capable of detecting cosmic phenomena across vast distances. The diagrams were complex, the materials partially unfamiliar, and the principles required leaps of imagination. But Kai could see the logic. He could visualize how the components interacted, how energy would flow, and how the device would function. "We can do this," Kai said quietly. "We just need to follow the logic and adapt the design where necessary." Alina nodded. "Exactly. And remember, adaptation is human strength. Machines cannot improvise. That's why this challenge was meant for us." Kai began assembling the components, carefully following the instructions but also applying his own insights. He adjusted some parts based on intuition, predicted how energy would flow, and fine-tuned connections in ways the signal hadn't explicitly detailed. Every adjustment felt natural, a collaboration between the human mind and alien guidance. Hours passed. The device slowly came to life under his hands. Lights flickered softly, panels glowed, and small hums filled the air as energy began to circulate. Kai felt a thrill of excitement. This wasn't just construction, it was creation. Something entirely new, guided by human reasoning, imagination, and ingenuity. Finally, the device activated fully. It hovered slightly above the console, pulsing with a soft blue light. The alien signal intensified, responding to the device, as if acknowledging that its instructions had been understood and correctly applied. "It's working," Kai whispered, his eyes wide. "It's actually working." Alina smiled warmly. "Yes, Kai. And this is the proof that humans still hold the spark machines cannot replicate: intuition, creativity, and courage. You've not only interpreted the message, but you've acted on it with insight and imagination." Kai looked at the device, realizing what it meant. The alien signal had been a test, yes, but also an invitation. Humans had proven that they could understand, adapt, and create. They had bridged the gap between known technology and the unimaginable, guided by intelligence, creativity, and human intuition. Suddenly, the device emitted a harmonic resonance. The signal on the console transformed, shifting from patterns and diagrams to what seemed like a visual representation of a cosmic map. Points of light appeared, tracing lines between distant stars, highlighting phenomena previously unknown to humans. Kai felt a shiver of awe. Alina, it's showing us things. Stars, energy flows, maybe even travel routes we've never detected. Alina's eyes shone with excitement. And you've done this. Human insight unlocked the path. Machines could never have done it alone. This is why humans matter. Creativity, intuition, and courage, they define us. Kai realized something profound. The alien signal wasn't just about building a device. It was a message of trust. Whoever, or whatever, had sent it recognized that humans could understand, adapt, and create solutions beyond the limitations of logic alone. The spark of humanity, the ability to imagine, reason, and act morally, was being tested and honored. Kai leaned forward, studying the map. He noticed an anomaly in one of the distant systems, a region of energy the signal seemed to highlight repeatedly. His mind raced, imagining what it could mean. A cosmic phenomenon, perhaps a safe path through unknown space, or even a signal pointing to other intelligent life. Alina, he said, the signal, it's giving us guidance. It's not just technology, it's showing us a way to explore, to understand the universe in ways we've never imagined. Alina nodded. Yes, and humans with their creativity and intuition are capable of interpreting it fully. That's the lesson here. We can take this knowledge and expand it, not blindly, not recklessly, but with understanding and purpose. Kai felt a surge of pride and responsibility. They had proven that humans could meet challenges far beyond what machines or algorithms could handle. And this proof wasn't theoretical, it was tangible. The device they had built, guided by human insight, was now alive, capable of revealing secrets of the cosmos. He glanced at Alina. This is just the beginning, isn't it? She smiled. Yes, Kai. Humanity has always faced the unknown. But this is a moment that shows the true value of our kind. Machines can calculate, but humans imagine. Machines can follow, but humans create. That is why we matter, and why you matter. Kai looked back at the console and the device, feeling a deep connection to both the alien signal and the potential it represented. The universe suddenly felt both vast and intimate, full of mysteries that humans could face, interpret, and explore. A soft chime came from the device. Light cascaded across the room in intricate patterns, and the signal's map shifted dynamically, highlighting new areas, showing energy flows, and even indicating points of interest that Kai could only begin to comprehend. This is incredible, Kai said softly. It's like it's alive, and it responds to us, to how we think, to what we imagine. Alina nodded. Exactly, and that's why humans are essential. You've shown that insight, creativity, and courage, qualities unique to our kind, can unlock potential no machine can reach. Humanity is ready for challenges like this, and you've proven it today. Kai felt a warm pride. He realized that this adventure was bigger than technology, bigger than puzzles, bigger than even the signal itself. It was about what humans could do when they combined curiosity, creativity, and courage. He stood and looked at Alina. We've done it. Together, humans have succeeded, not just with intelligence but with imagination. That's something no machine could ever replicate. Alina's eyes sparkled. Yes, Kai, and that's why I asked you to stay for dinner. Not because of the food or even the conversation, but because I recognize the human spark in you. That spark, the ability to notice, imagine, and create, is what this universe needs. Kai smiled, feeling a sense of fulfillment unlike anything he had ever experienced. He had come to a friend's house for dinner, expecting an ordinary evening, and had instead discovered a path to the stars, guided by human ingenuity and courage. As he looked at the device and the shimmering cosmic map, Kai realized that humanity's future was not just about technology or machines. It was about people. Curious, brave, and imaginative people, capable of understanding the unknown and shaping it with wisdom and creativity. The signal pulsed one last time, a soft acknowledgement as if confirming that humans had succeeded. Kai felt a thrill, a sense of partnership across the cosmos. Somewhere out there, intelligence had reached out and humanity had risen to the challenge. Kai took a deep breath. "Alina, we've done it. Humans, we've shown what we can do." Alina smiled warmly. "Yes, Kai, and this is only the beginning. The universe is vast, full of mysteries, and full of opportunities for humans to prove themselves again and again. Remember this moment, the moment when human creativity and courage reached beyond the stars and succeeded." Kai looked at the device, the signal, and the glowing cosmic map, feeling a mixture of awe and determination. Humanity had faced the unknown, and through ingenuity, imagination, and courage, they had triumphed. For the first time, he realized the true meaning of being human: to notice what others miss, to imagine what others cannot, to act boldly and wisely. The universe was a challenge, but humanity was ready. And in that quiet laboratory, with the soft hum of the machines and the pulsing glow of the alien device, Kai smiled, knowing one undeniable truth: humans could rise to any challenge, and the stars themselves were within reach. The adventure was far from over, but humanity had already won the day.